I'm talking right now with Jeff Klei. He's the president of Continental's North American operations. We're coming to you from the floor of the 2017 North American International Auto Show. And Jeff, so much of the talk in this business right now, and especially at the show, is about autonomous vehicles. And you guys just formed an interesting joint venture that brings you even more into that capability.
We did, John, and we're real excited about it. We have been in the autonomous space for a while. We call it automated driving, as you know. And one of those elements is steering, of course. You have to be able to steer the car. So we formed a R&D joint venture with Nexteer, one of the leading electronic steering suppliers. And it's really intended to further the development of what we call motion control. You've got to have the motion control to execute automated driving. So it's a pretty important venture for us. It allows us and Nexteer to really further the development and ultimately bring those life-saving benefits of autonomous driving to the roads.
Now, all cars have steering systems. How does it help you to form a joint venture to develop this technology?
Again, it's an R&D only joint venture. So what we're going to do is take our knowledge with all the ADAS and all the advanced driving sensors, software, and algorithms, and the vehicle system, and combine it with their intelligence of the steering and their autonomous driving technologies to really work better together. That will help them with their steering. It's going to help us with the rest of the autonomous driving technologies. Ultimately, we're both going to sell the components separately. We're not necessarily saying we're going to sell one system, but what it's going to do is enable both of us to learn a little bit more about the other elements and bring both of them up at the same time.
What's Continental's strategy? Are you going to develop autonomy in a box and sell that, or how's that going to work?
We are developing with our customers. We're not going to develop a system which says it's a plug and play and anybody can use it and within 2 months you can have an autonomous driving vehicle. That's not our strategy. All right, we believe that it's going to happen step by step through various levels. It's going to happen over time with maybe what we call highly automated or fully automated happening in the 2020, 2025 timeframe. But we're not one to say autonomous. We go more with automated because we don't really see yet in every driving situation, the situation where you're going to have no driver engagement at all, no steering wheel, no brake. We're not ready to go there yet. We really believe that's going to take a long time, and there's a lot of steps that are going to happen in the way.
Some say, though, that a level 3 where you still have a steering wheel and the car will tell you you've got to get back engaged again, the handoff as they call it.
Yes.
Is a dangerous thing. Google and Ford, for example, have said we're skipping that. But clearly you guys are going to proceed that way.
We have to, because our customers are going down that path, and we believe that that's the right path. We've had enough experience with some of these active safety technologies that people have to be comfortable. They have to know that the car is ready to take over. They have to have confidence. And that's why one of the biggest challenges is how do you engage and disengage the driver in the driving task? And while some would say you can avoid that if you go right to level 5, we know all the driving situations, and we just completed a 7,500 mile, 3-continent simultaneous drive with what we call level 3. Level 3, the driver still has to be there, the driver has to be prepared to take back over. And it was in the US, it was Detroit to Jacksonville and back, and it was autonomous, it was on highways, and we continue to learn a lot. But this is the point, is that was in the US. You have to do this in Europe, you have to do it in Asia. Every driving situation, every driver, every sign is different. So we got a long way to go for full autonomous driving.
Sounds though that you will have the capability, if an automaker came to you and said, we want a turnkey system, sounds like you're going to have the building blocks to do that.
What we'll have is many of the components, we'll have the ability to do much of the system integration, but what we find is there's not so many customers that are going to turn over an entire system to one company. What we find is most of them, quite frankly, are doing it in-house from a full system, but they rely on companies like Continental to bring many of the components, subsystems, software elements to them for their various components or subsystems.
How about on the commercial truck side? Some say that's where we're going to see autonomy happen faster.
And we fully support that. We agree with it. And there's many platooning, for example, and actually in the state of Michigan, the governor just signed one of the 4 bills that he signed related to autonomous driving happens to be in the area of platooning. So it's coming to Michigan. We're engaged in the truck side, and actually we just as well acquired another company called Zonar. And Zonars, they're in the fleet management system. So we're trying to play in that space as well. The final element that we really are excited about too, and we showed it at CES, is we call it high resolution flash LiDAR. Many of the LiDAR systems that are out there that build these beautiful 3D models of the road around, they're mechanical scanning. This is a solid state. We're on generation 7 of this through a company that's been developing this for 20 years. It used to be used for docking of literally space shuttles. And now we're bringing it into the automotive space with the 7th generation.
There's a huge cost reduction with that approach, right?
There is, and what it's cost is one element. But we believe that LiDAR is really critical for highly automated and fully automated driving. Radar alone, camera alone, ultrasonic alone is not enough. Look at the Faraday Future vehicle that they rolled out at CES. 38 sensors on this vehicle,
wow.
Right? 38 sensors. So sensors are a big part of it. We're very much playing in that space. It's one of our core competencies, and we're going to continue to bring it to our customers.
Autonomy is one part of this move to mobility. Others are talking about ride sharing and car sharing. Isn't Continental doing something along the back end of being able to monitor or control that?
Yes, exactly, and that was one of the main motivations behind Zonar, because Zonar does that. We've got about 500,000 commercial vehicles, school buses and commercial trucks in fleets, mainly in the US, and that's exactly that, to monitor, build, and optimize the fleet, where the vehicles are, how they're being used, and the state of the operation. So the whole services area is one entire new element for our industry. How do you monetize it? How do you build it? Who owns the data? It's really an interesting topic that is really, we're just scratching the surface.
Have you ever been tempted to go to market under the Continental brand, or do you think you'll just be the back end for others who do that?
I think we'll be the back end. I don't see us going to market and saying, automated driving by Continental. As much as I'd love to see it, I just don't see that as a reality. We're working on trying to, I'd love it even to say, Continental inside, right? But, again, the only brand that we have that people see are tires. And it's a very, very, prominent brand. It's a very great, but to be honest with you, I don't expect that Continental is going to be something that consumers are going to see when they see automated driving.
Well, it sure is a brave new world, an exciting one too, and especially for you, I got to believe this is the best.
I'll tell you, it's a great time to be in the industry. It's an exciting time, it's a challenging time, and the best thing about it is we're seeing more collaboration, not just between industry and government, but also within the industry. And the industry government, let's not underestimate that. Finally, the government has said, let's collaborate, let's put out guidelines instead of regulating and saying it has to have this sensor or it can't have that sensor. Let's work together to define what the systems look like and bring these safety technologies to market.
Jeff Klei, thanks for this quick update of what Continental's doing in this space.
My pleasure. Enjoy the rest of the show, John.
Thanks.
At IAC, inspiration comes from within, and it shows in every material choice we make, every surface technology we develop, and every design detail we obsess over. Because as a global leader in automotive interior components, we understand that it's what's inside that truly drives us all. It's why we create solutions that seamlessly connect consumer to car, sight to sound to touch. Visit IACgroup.com and be inspired.